Hi everyone, it's Bree of BreeAbroad, and today I wanted to speak about how I prepared physically and mentally to move to South Africa. As you've already read, the physical part wasn't so hard since I already had a travel clinic. I knew what shots to get, and as I've already started the visa process, it hasn't been completed, which is why I'll have to leave and return. It's not necessarily hard, it's just somewhat long and tedious and very annoying. No one wants to deal with it. So then came the harder part of the mental of why go to Africa. And the first thing I wanted to address was that this isn't a trip back to the motherland for me. Honestly, I'm an American, I'm of American culture, and that is what I know. So similar to a child that was adopted and raised by another family for 20 years and then given back to their biological mother, there's a huge disconnect there. So coming back to Africa, I wanted to learn the culture, I wanted to learn the people, and definitely see the land where this violent history, my history, took place. And from this, I wanted to learn how to be aware and how to be prepared and how to unite and build a community. Because Africa is full of small communities that survive every day. So the next thing I wanted to address was, okay, so you came to South Africa, you want to explore the land, that's all very fair, but there are plenty of issues back home you could be solving, which is very true. And that is a question that I get very often and planned to get very often, because quite simply, America is a very hypocritical culture of democracy, yet there isn't rights for everyone and not equal rights for everyone. The amount of black men in prison is astonishing and disgusting considering the small amount of minority they are in America in total, for example. So there are many issues I plan to fight for, I need to fight for, but I came to South Africa and I came to Nkosi's Haven to learn and not to better myself introspectively. As a person who sits and thinks about how I want to grow as a person and the person I want to be, I didn't come here to be changed as a person. That's not a fair thing for these children to come here and humble myself by how they live. Honestly, you can't go to another country and learn how to be better. You have to address your problems head on wherever you are, or else you'll spend your whole life running. So the last thing came, okay, so you chose Africa. We understand somewhat how you came here and you joined another cause that you are passionate about but may not be your first passionate cause. So then understanding that there's a culture of volunteerism that comes with traveling to third world countries and helping other cultures, I needed to set myself apart. And everything I do, I choose to set myself apart. And so I established short-term and long-term goals. Because volunteerism knows no race. It has to do with culture and socioeconomic status. So with that said, I'm in a different place. I'm coming into these children's home. I'm coming into a different culture, into a very sensitive situation where some of these children are orphans because their parents have died of AIDS, and some of these children are infected with HIV, and not because of consequences of their own. So there's a lot of turmoil they may have to deal with. So with that said, I definitely mentally prepared myself and opened my heart, I opened my mind, and I opened my eyes, and I definitely put on very thick skin. Because the same as home, as an African American person, certain things are expected of you, is the same how I come to Africa and certain things are expected and assumed of me. And there's no problem with that. There's things that we have to learn about new people. So knowing that, I definitely humbled myself before I came here and wanted to make myself as relatable as possible. Because adversity knows no race. Adversity knows no sex. Adversity knows no shape. Adversity is a character building thing that a lot of us have to go through. And whether it be socially, whether it be economically, whether it be racial, you can always connect with someone depending on the hardships they've had to deal with. So understanding those things, the last thing I wanted to kind of address was, okay, you're going to this haven and you're dealing with children. And whether the children be American, Central American, African, Canadian, I take children very seriously. There are plenty of experiences that I still remember that plenty of adults probably didn't even think would be significant to me, but they mattered. So I take my time with children very serious, and I make sure every experience is a learning experience and is a positive experience, because you don't know what's going to impact them. And you shouldn't. You should always carry yourself in a positive manner. So the moral of the story is be open, understand the differences, and definitely don't come in on a big white horse coming to save the day, because that's not the case, especially for a person like me who comes from a place that isn't perfect. So those are the few things that I mentally had to digest and mentally had to address before I came to South Africa. So I hope that helped you all, and if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below.